Woo! We made it. Sorry, yo. I am here. I am indeed here. I didn't have a chance to towel off the sweat this time. So, remember yesterday when I was talking about how the dog got brought down and put into the bathtub, there's a bathroom right behind me. And the dog was put in the bathtub. And like, I get a text. Oh, I put the dog in the bathtub. She has poop on her butt. And then I'm like, the dog is going to bark in the middle of my show to try and get out of the bathtub. Can you please get the dog? And I'm texting. Today, I've been working. Check out Women's Fastbreak on SI. Please click on the link below in the description. Check the articles out. Let me know what you think. But between this here channel and that website that I'm running, I'm like going 100 miles an hour right now. And I wanted to take a breath. I have the two youngest today. I have Ronnie and Rohan. My oldest, Raj, is at the hospital. He gets infusions for his health issue that he deals with. And so I have the other two kids the whole day, summertime, and all that. So I want to go outside and get a breather real quick, right? And outside talking to some of the neighbors and, one of the little kids who's over there now, I just told him, like, come inside, just so he doesn't, my youngest likes to run out in front of the cars and go like this because he thinks they're just going to stop for him because he's big row and he's a big boy. So anyhow, the neighbor, 4-year-old who lives next door, comes over to me, comes outside. Rohan pooped in your office. And I'm like, that can't be right. Like, right? Sure enough, I come inside and Rohan, I guess, couldn't hold it anymore. And right over yonder, pooped and peed in my office. So the reason I was late to this stream is because I was down on my hands and knees cleaning up the poop and pee from my office. So here I am, not covered in poop and pee, and doing this YouTube live stream. Oh my goodness. All right. I don't think anybody needs to hear about bodily fluids anymore today. I don't know how to transition to the topic at hand. There was one other thing I also wanted to mention actually before I get into Caitlin Clark and the fever and all the stuff that you guys are used to me talking about in here. Throw your ones up, everybody. Everybody out there, throw your ones up. Because if you're a wrestling fan, a titan of the industry died today. The father of Roman Reigns, one half of the Wild Samoans. You can see right there, remembered by WWE, the biggest lineage in the history of professional wrestling. That family, that bloodline, if you will, has spawned some of the greats. I'm a huge wrestling fan. You can catch me on Friday nights after Denise Salcedo's YouTube show talking wrestling. And I wanted to make sure we acknowledged the loss here today. Because, not only did the Wild Samoans have a run of their own back in the day, and, they were going up against the likes of Hulk Hogan and others, but they obviously, their offspring went on to huge and major things in the WWE, including the tribal chief Roman Reigns, who, the more he's gone and the more I revisit how much I got back into wrestling during the pandemic and during his reign, the more I think Roman Reigns might be the greatest of all time. But his father passed today. So one's up in honor of the Anoa'i family and the loss of the patriarch of said family, Sika, today. Do a moment of silence with our ones in the air. Okay. All right. Now I can talk about this And, I struggle sometimes is like, should I do a different topic today and whatnot? But I did see some stuff, and I will, eventually we're going to broaden up a little bit and expand off here. But I I wanted to say, I saw some stupid shit today. When I'm just like, it's the type of stuff that reminded me of LeBron James, because I've said Caitlin Clark is Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods or even Serena Williams in the way that she's brought this attention to her sport and made what I think will be a generational change in regards to the sport. And that's where she's Michael Jordan. But in some ways, she's LeBron James, meaning the way she's discussed and talked about is like LeBron James. LeBron James, it's been really a cottage industry to have something to say about LeBron James since really he went to Miami, I think, in 2010. And look, I'm guilty of it too. And in the same way that I once talked about LeBron a ton, I'm now, I guess, talking about Caitlin a ton. So I don't want to not acknowledge, again, to use that word, that it's been fortuitous for me. But I don't think I'm saying crazy shit. All right. I think I'm covering it fairly and honestly and just recognizing the magnitude of what's going on. But this morning, I see a couple things. Like, I see the Maya Moore. Did you see what Lisa Bluter said about Caitlin Clark being the next Maya Moore? Now, of course, she says this after Caitlin Clark becomes the second women's basketball player to win this Honda Cup award, along with Maya Moore, second one to do it twice. So there's a direct comparison in that regards. And then she was also talking about how, like, Caitlin made it a point to say that, she always saw how Maya Moore conducted herself and she idolized that. So in that way, she's like Maya Moore, signing autographs and all those things. And by the way, Maya Moore is very supportive of Caitlin Clark. Flew out to see her and everything. But people are like, don't you dare compare her to Maya Moore! Rah! Like, are you for real? Like, relax. Relax. Who are you even arguing with? You're not arguing with anybody. I saw that a bunch this morning, right? And then I think it was our buddy Skip, right? It was Skip Bayless who said, what did Skip say? Skip said that Caitlin Clark might not have that dog in her, which is the same thing as the clutch gene thing that he's used on LeBron. I mean, Skip might have found a new toy in that sense. Does Caitlin Clark have that dog in her? Just a bunch of nonsense. But it goes to show you the popularity and the attention that Caitlin generates, right? And they talk about all this nonsense all the time. We've seen Caitlin and the dog in her. Now, you also see Christy Sides said today that Caitlin has the green light to go shoot the basketball, which I think some of y'all would like to hear. So I think it was just an interesting day in that regard. By the way, some of the stats came out too. I did a piece on this for Women's Fastbreak on SI. You should check it out. But what I found interesting was, so the Caitlin Clark games are obviously like through the roof, right? Obviously through the roof. But if you look at even these other games, this is an interesting little note. Check this out. WNBA viewership, season to date, all networks, right? Oops. Did I go backwards there? Oh, well, I just went to the tweet. That's fine. All Caitlin Clark games, 1.184 million compared to 301,000 last year. You know what that means? That's almost quadrupling what it was last year. All other games, 428,000. Well, last year it was 301,000. That's a 40% increase. I know we talk about the Caitlin Clark aspect. That's a 40% increase for all the games, which in a explosive, whatever you call this phenomenon that's going on with Caitlin Clark territory would be, that's the type of numbers you tout. That's the type of numbers people come out and go like, holy crap, look what's going on here. So I thought that was worth pointing out as well. I think that might be all I got from a monologue standpoint today, guys. Again, I'm grinding, working. Who's coming in here now? Who? Which one of you? I cannot put that on you. Come here, look. Come here. Look, I'm doing a show. Look, bud. Look, I cannot put your Captain America outfit on you in the middle of this show. After you pooped in my office. This is the culprit. Did you poop in my office? Yes? Why did you poop in my office? Mommy. Okay. Ronnie can help you.
No.
Okay, I will help you. Come here. Come here. You want to get the whole Captain America?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
I know the whole Captain America. Like that whole Captain America.
I see. Here.
The feet hole.
Did you get the right leg? Okay, other foot. Okay. Now scooch up. Okay, arms in. All right. You want to show everybody your Captain America outfit real quick? And then get out of here, okay? There you are. Say hello.
Hello.
Say Avengers Assemble.
Avengers Assemble.
Okay, get out of here. Ronnie, don't let him in here anymore. Lock the door. Sorry. All right. I will get to your comments now. Whew. AJ Schreiber appropriately saying what he is here for today. And then my man Kevin Zwicker also with a comment that is correct. You know I'm right, Kev, most of the time in what I'm saying, the point. But I thought that was at least an interesting little thing to get us kick-started. The rest of it I will work through with you guys. This is DS who says, will the hype continue with CC continue at this level forever? Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, this is the peak of it because it's new. But I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think I think you are, like, when I say, I'm not joking when I say she's Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Tiger Woods. Like, yes, there'll be times where, it's not like this, like, at its complete peak, but she's now the face of basketball. I really believe that going forward. So take that for what you will as far as the hype continuing. And then I think, again, you'll see the rest of the league grow a little bit. Check out the Commissioner's Cup tonight. Lynx and the Liberty, 8 o'clock, as soon as I'm done here. That should be a good game. And then, like, my dad was texting me, are you going to be covering women's basketball? I'm like, dude, it says on the site, Women's Fast Break. It's got an NCAA section. But, that's going to have Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins. Like, I didn't choose this. It sort of chose me, but I was super interested in it. And then I realized, like, the brain part of me, like, oh, this is a unique moment in time. This is not normal. Ernesto shouts out my fathering skills. That's just Jim Klein. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. I do my best. All right, I'm going to go back up to the top of the chats to try and get through them. If, you want to make sure to get your comment read, send me a super chat or consider a membership. I'll look for those first, obviously. That's why I just went to some of those comments. But Michael S., they just waived Celeste Taylor. They should waive Caitlin and let her join a team that wants to build around her. Look, I can't say that I know enough about Celeste Taylor to have a strong opinion. Sorry, I'm just not going to have a strong opinion about something I don't know enough about. I understand the idea of her being a very good defender. Like, I understand that idea of her, but I don't know if, if actually that's the case. If maybe she wasn't that good. I don't know. The woman that they did bring in is a post presence, can shoot the ball, and I think the way we've seen Melissa Smith get bullied by the likes of Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns, sorry, Angel Reese and company. They needed a change up there. Why does you really think her coach hates her guts? I got news for you guys. I don't think anyone is sabotaging Caitlin Clark. I've seen that point of view a bunch. I really don't think that's the case. You could say they're inept, or whatnot, but no one is sabotaging Caitlin Clark. My man Kev, show's going off the rails. Shout out to Ro. He just tried to come in again. I locked the door. Hopefully he's all right. Check. Again, I'm here. There's other neighborhood kids in the house because I had to get Rohan inside, right? Like, he can't be outside by himself. Ronnie would be fine outside by herself, but Rohan, no chance. No chance. Bobby U says, "Where's Hunter?" Oh, Hunter Biden. I forgot. I thought you were talking about Triple H. Dude, what do you want? You need me to put another outfit on?
I want a Ninja Turtle.
You want to be a Ninja Turtle now? Okay.
I know how to be a Ninja Turtle. I know what I want Ninja Turtle.
You want Ninja Turtles now?
And I know how to put Ninja Turtle.
Okay, we can't do this. When I'm done the show, I can dress you as a Ninja Turtle, okay? But you gotta. Can this be the last costume change for the next half an hour?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I know how I put this on. This is too crazy. This is too crazy for me.
Get your arms in there. You want to show everybody your Ninja Turtle outfit? Okay, you're so big, dude.
I know it'll be small.
Come here.
I want to be smaller.
You want to be smaller? Here, say hi. Let them fix your feet. Say hi, Ninja Turtle.
And then
okay, go. Oh my gosh. Whew. We're live, baby. Vatimoni says Damaris better be playing the 3 instead of Wallace. No, she's a 4 or 5. I mean, I've just seen from the footage. I don't think she can play the 3. They got to figure out the Wallace spot, but it ain't going to be her. Joseph Park says, think about, yeah, she's a 4 or 5. And that's from the mouth of Lynn Dunn, the GM of the Fever as well. Not just me. The GM called her a 4 or 5. She's a big girl. Melissa got destroyed in that last game. Matt Moreau, I don't know if I'm allowed to put your comment on the screen. I mean, I'm assuming you're speaking from your own experience, but I'm just going to be careful. I see it, though. Sorry, I was late. What up, Bryce? There you go, Matt. I can put this one up. And Alvin White with the ones. Salute to Sika. Michael Martin saluting to Sika in a couple different ways. Kevin saluting. Michael mentioning that Afa and Sika were terrifying back in the day. Once saw Snuka splash one of them off of Andre's shoulders live. He's a wrestling historian, Michael Morton. He can be that for the show. Eventually, we're going to spin off some sort of wrestling programming. Once I got to get one thing under control at a time here, but eventually we will be spinning off in that regard, one way or the other. because that's a passion of mine. Kyle McCaskill says, can we stop comparing her to black people? Why? They're athletes. We're comparing her to athletes, not black people. I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you. We're my only. Here's the thing. In this whole stupid nonsense, right? A straight white girl was picked right after Caitlin Clark. Nobody was mad at her. Cameron Brink. Sabrina Ionescu is a straight white girl and a great player. No one's mad at her. It's the hype for Caitlin Clark. Race never had nothing to do with it. I mean, something like subtext, but never the thing to do with it. So when I compare Caitlin Clark to LeBron James, it's due to the conversation that each of them generates. When I compare her to Michael Jordan, it is due to the impact on the sport. I never, for in a million years, thought, oh, I'm comparing a white player to a black player in doing that. That's just a silly, myopic way to think. I mean, it's the biggest compliment. If you can be Michael Jordan or LeBron James. You want me to compare it to Tom Brady? But that doesn't work because Tom Brady didn't do to the NFL what Michael Jordan did to the NBA or Tiger Woods did to golf. Southern Mode says, next LeBron James, y'all must be smoking crack. Or you don't understand the point I made. One of the two. I'm smoking crack or you don't understand the point. Futuristic's back in the house. Clark is MJ. She's MJ and LeBron in a certain way. Yeah, Alvin, I've never heard people talk about college championships before, by the way. Like, I've never heard that. In all my years of debating basketball and covering basketball and everything that comes with that, I have never once heard anyone bring up a championship for college. The only time I really heard it was Carmelo Anthony, and people called him a loser at the NBA level, despite his college championship. It's silly. AJ wants to make sure he points out that we're going to do a LeBron Jordan show one of these days soon. Another member here, TXZ06, Robin the Fever must figure out how to fix this. Free throws, Fever 6 of 11 versus Dream 31 of 35. Wow, was it that big a difference? Fever 10 of 14 versus Sky 22 of 32. Refs and or just bad defense. Well, sometimes it's a product of the kind of offense you're running, kind of attacking you're doing. That all plays into free throw disparity, but that is a pretty big disparity. I did not even know that. But I don't know if that's a side's decision, Bryce. To be honest, that's a GM decision. Close Quarter says those on the network shows don't have time to really follow and break down what's going on in the NBA. They give awful takes. I got news for you. Most of them don't follow or break down any of the sports they cover. Having been there, done that. That's just the truth. You find the big talking point and you yell and scream about whatever the big talking point is. A lot of the time. That's the case. Unfortunately. Oh. Close Quarters adds Teaspoon out here using Reese like a vet side. She uses CC like she was a second pick. Look, she said she has the green light. I'm not a huge Christy side, but some of y'all are a little harsh on everything. If she's going to coach her in public, that's a vote of confidence. She can now never say, look, it takes the pressure off of Christy's sides, right? Because now she can say, oh, it's on Caitlin. If somebody says, why didn't Caitlin shoot the ball or whatever? But at the same time, you can also then never say, oh, Christy's holding her back from shooting because Caitlin could go do it and call her own number now. We all heard it. We all heard it. Brian Goodner said, I hope Chris decides as head coach for as long as she wants just to drive all the disrespectful fans insane. Think they're experts because they played in there. Yeah, like, I mean, well, also, like, with Caitlyn sometimes, and, like, everything is everybody's fault but hers. And I don't think there's anything to fault Caitlyn for, by the way. She's played great. But not, you don't win every game. Nobody's perfect. And I don't think it's fair to, like, always crush the coach. NB says Celeste was defensive player of the year for 2 college teams. She can shoot a little too. Look, not all college skills translate to the pros. Again, I don't know. I've seen that. I've heard that. I have not seen Celeste play enough to give you an informed take. So I'm not going to pretend I know better than the general manager of the team. I just can't, I'm sorry. Crystal Poser said the best part of the show, it must be like Roe coming back in here that we're talking about. Glad you guys appreciate him. He's a hilarious guy. I wish he didn't poop in my office, but other than that, he's a hilarious guy. Hey, Ronnie, you want to come say hi real quick? Where you at? No? I don't know where she is. Now I'm answering text messages. Sorry. R says, I really thought you would have something else to talk about. The CC talk is getting old, bro. Let's talk draft, anything but her. Like, look, here's the thing. When I talk Caitlin Clark, more people are here. Every time. It is what it is. I am expanding the talk and the coverage, and I will expand the talk and the coverage because it's what healthy coverage does. It's how I'll eventually grow. It's how all of us will grow together. It's why I do video on Kennedy Carter yesterday, right? It's why I will start covering, Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers and all these other things. But even days where I don't necessarily want to do it and I wonder, should I do it? More of y'all show up when I do. Whether that's the one-off videos or the live streams, it just is what it is, right? But if anybody has an idea for a different, I'm getting to the point where I certainly want to try spinning off into some other topics, for sure. Besides Euphoria, here's another topic. What are your 3 favorite Kendrick songs? Good question. My 3 favorite Kendrick songs. I want to speak out of turn. I mean, honestly, I feel like Euphoria and Not Like Us are 2 of my favorite Kendrick songs. They would probably actually be in my top 3. King Kunta, for sure. King Kunta, probably DNA, and Count Me Out. Off the top, well, I'm scrolling through, but those probably my picks. Those would probably be my picks. I mean, you're right, Alvin. They just look for it's desperate. It's hilarious. Just like looking for something to be mad about Caitlin Clark. It's LeBron. It's exactly LeBron. Nancy says no comparison to LeBron or Jordan. LeBron flop. LeBron doesn't flop that much, guys. He really doesn't. I mean, compared to some of the floppers in the league, LeBron's not that much of a flopper. That's just another example of how much more he gets covered than everybody else. Shaq did not win an NCAA championship, Joseph. I mean, most of the greats did not win an NCAA championship. I've never heard it brought up before until Caitlin Clark. That's the first time I've ever heard people bring up NCAA championships in one of these debates. Kyle, do you take offense to everything? Not bullying. I didn't mean bullying her like putting her in the locker. I mean like bullying her on the court. She was too strong for her. Taking her lunch money on the court. Come on. David Almond says Fever is a joke of an organization ridding themselves of Taylor is insane. Best perimeter defender on the squad. That's what everybody says. She played 16 minutes. I don't know. I'm not saying she shouldn't have gotten a chance. But again, I don't know. I'm not at their practices. I haven't seen her play enough. I'm not going to speak on something I don't know enough about. Doug Developer says, Robin, have you taken kids to see Inside Out 2 yet? No, I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. I think I've heard of it, but I can't picture what that is. Samantha Salette says, thoughts on CC facing Taurasi for the first time on Sunday. What do you think we can expect? I mean, they're going to keep it. I don't think there's going to be. Diana might talk. I mean, Diana likes to talk. Might talk. But I don't think, it's going to be much more than that. I think it'll be a good competitive game. Rand Sports PH says the Fever need a mobile big. That's Fag Benley. The Fever need a wing. They need a 3-person. They need a 3-and-D player. That's what they need. An athletic 3-and-D player. Fag Benley's a mobile big. That's what they really need. Lynx and Liberty playing today. I'm going to catch the second half. I will catch that game too. Adam Hurley, Lynx and Liberty, good game for sure. I recommend everybody checking it out if you can. If you can, check that game out. Whew. But yeah, a wing is what they really need. The Liberty had to move that game, by the way. They usually play at the Barclays Center, but I guess is the NBA draft tomorrow? Holy crap. Talk about the difference between that's a good example of where women's basketball is versus men's basketball, because I would have never in a million years, I forgot that the WNBA, the NBA draft is tomorrow. And you can't even name these players. Like, who's going number 1 in the NBA draft? It's wild. Versus the players on the women's side are staying around longer, so you get to follow their stories longer. And everything that comes around with that. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see. Kevin says I make references. Inside Out is a big pop. You're talking about like some mumble rappers and stuff usually, Kevin. I don't know. Let me look up Inside Out because I'll be able to. Let me see. Inside Out. Have I seen this at all? You know what I don't like very much is Pixar movies. Is it a Pixar movie? Yeah, I don't. I definitely never saw the first one. I'm looking at it now. I'm sure my kids have seen it. As DS says, there's no Wemby in this draft. Michael S. says he's rooting for the Lynx because he wants to see that, or the Liberty because he wants to see the Lynx coach get upset. The Lynx coach, of course, if you don't know, sort of famously shaded Caitlin Clark earlier in the year, talking about how, that part when somebody had said the league's only promoting Caitlin games. Yeah, what if there was a one and done in women's college basketball? That would have the same effect, yes. It would hurt the game. Not to say that, by the way, I'm not saying that it's wrong. Look, I mean, players get compensated. It is what it is. But because the money is not as extreme on the women's side as it is on the men's side, and the nature of it, it's not as quick of a race to get into the pros. Also, it's not as big an international talent pool where you have the international talent pool changing the landscape of the sport on the men's side and not on the women's side. So the days of following men's college basketball players on their journey to the pros and being attached to them from the program to the school, it's almost done completely, versus you still have that on the women's side. Think about the attachment people show to that Villanova team, because they're all playing in New York. People go, oh, the Villanova squad, the Villanova squad, the Villanova squad. Like, all that's done now and dead. AJ says, speaking of Pixar, since Disney owns both, wouldn't it be cool to see Pixar start making Marvel movies? I don't like Pixar style animation. I don't like it. I'd rather see a regular. I much prefer like the Spider-Verse animation or X-Men 97, like traditional animation. So I would rather see that than anything else, for real. If I'm being honest with you. I think I got to all the super chats, of course. And the lives still coming in. Any other comments you guys want to get them in? Sorry, AJ. AJ is, an OG supporter, along with Kev and Ernesto. But yeah, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like, for whatever reason, the Pixar movies don't do anything for me. I'm not against them. I'm not anti them. I have no negative feelings toward them. I just don't rock with them. Like, they don't, whenever they're on, like, I just stop paying attention. I don't know what it is. But people love them. Like, I'm definitely in the minority. When I say I don't like mob movies and I don't really like Pixar movies, I'm in the minority. Bill Dew says Fever just waved player who is a great defensive guard. None of us know that, really, except for who watched Celeste Taylor a bunch of college. Anybody that watched Celeste Taylor a ton at college can maybe make that comment. But otherwise, we don't know that. It reminds me of like the backup quarterback, right? Like, everybody always thinks the backup quarterback is so good until the backup quarterback plays. And I don't want to take a shot at Celeste. I'm not saying either way, right? Like, she didn't have a chance. So it's not fair to say anything negative about her either. I'm not going to pretend I know things that I don't know. Rick says, what do you think about the Rookie of the Year? I think it's interesting. I think it's going to be exciting. It's another story to follow. I think right now it's Caitlin Clark, but I think Angel Reese has made it a conversation, which is cool. And I think the fact that they're on the same team, or going to be on the same team for the All-Star game, might be the biggest story in sports this summer. Everybody talk. I've seen a lot of like big accounts that had to delete posts because they posted stuff like sports are done until the fall, or what's your favorite big sports event this year, and or this summer, I'm sorry, what's your favorite big sports event? And they show a calendar with none of the WNBA stuff. I think you're going to see so much hype when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are on the same team going up against the Olympic squad. That's going to be cool. Michael says this movie is good to help visualize emotions to a daughter who has a lot of... I'm sure it's a good movie. I did not mean to... Whoever originally made that comment, I did not mean to be dismissive. If I wasn't trying to do that at all. It's just those, wasn't on my radar. That's all. AJ says, I started tracking Rookie of the Year odds daily. That's a good idea for almost a segment, AJ. We should do that as a segment on the show. Like, give the update on the Rookie of the Year odds daily. Christopher Neely says, Reese has the best efficiency stats of any rookie. Reese has the best record of any rookie. Look, efficiency stats, I mean, you could say whatever you want. Like, bigs who don't have any volume touches are going to have better efficiency stats. That's the way it works. Who cares? That's not that significant to me. Reese is a winner. There's no question about that. She's always been a winner. I love her game. It's a different style of game. Does she have a better record than the Fever? I mean, essentially their records are the same. Their winning percentage is the same. The Fever are 2-1 against the Sky, and Caitlin Clark is currently top 25 in the WNBA in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. So, I mean, I don't want to. I think it's a little silly to act like there's any sort of negative spin on either of them. But efficiency stats in basketball tend to reward certain types of players oftentimes. And I don't think it's a very good indication of, the impact on the actual floor. Oh, let me show you this. Looks like Christy Sides and Caitlin might be friendly here, just to show everybody.
You talked about getting away from picking those stuff inside the side a little bit like in the game. When you watched the film of it, did you get a sense of why?
Yeah, I think we just.
I don't know where that answer is coming from, but looks like Aaliyah Boston, Christy Sides, and Caitlin Clark over there having a little conversation. Oh, wow. Caitlin Clark leads the league in turnovers. Who led the NBA in turnovers, Andy Moore? Luka Doncic? Is he good? Who is the all-time leader in turnovers in NBA history? LeBron James? Is he good? The turnovers thing is such nonsense. Let it go. Are turnovers more turnovers? Of course, also. The best players always lead the league in turnovers. Clark's turnovers will come down. You know who's second in the league in turnovers? Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun. You know who's third? Natasha Cloud. Fourth, Arike Agumbawale. Fifth, Skylar Diggins-Smith. Sixth, Kalia Copper. Then there's Dearica Hamby. Then there's Sabrina Ionescu. What do all those players have in common? They're good. The turnover thing is nonsense. It's just a biased ass argument that people are using. Like, come on. If you want to be real about it and you want to say, like, here's how she could cut down her turnovers, here are the turnovers that are on her, versus just randomly cherry picking that stat because it's the only thing you've got. Samantha Salette says, completely agree about the All-Star game. I think the beef goes deep with some of these players towards the Olympics team. Arike, Nneka, then watching CC and Reese play together. I can't wait. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Stuart Yu says, apparently the Sky were talking trash to CC all game and she just ignored them. Referring back to your comment about DT talking to CC. Look, trash talk's a part of basketball. Alyssa Thomas has a better assist to turnover ratio, so you're not being honest. Caitlin Clark will cut down on the turnovers, guys. She's seen more defensive attention. Alyssa Thomas also is a freaking forward. So a forward should not have as many turnovers as a point guard. You know? Let me even look at the splits. Let's look at the splits for Caitlin here. Can I get to her splits? They got to do a better job with the WNBA stats and get them on the same level as the NBA stats. I'm just look at the game log and I'll do the math real quick in my head here. So 5, that's May. All right, let's start from after the Commissioner's Cup game. So yeah, Caitlin needs to cut down on the turnovers. She needs to get them a little lower. But I would say 2 of those in the Sky game were definitely not on her. So that should be 3 turnovers instead of 5. But she's got the ball. She's going to have turnovers. Caitlin Clark will consistently be amongst the league leaders in turnovers. And those passes were not terrible, Andy. They were beautiful. Beautiful pass. The one in transition on the bounce was one of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen in my life. And you're a hater if you're saying that was a bad pass. Doug Developer says Michael Jordan ranks 36 all-time in turnovers. Real goat. Well, he also didn't handle the ball and bring it up the court and set everybody else up. That's a function of having the ball. And we're no longer in the pure point guard era, like where you're talking about like play, your point guard needs to score the ball now too. Your point guard needs to score the ball now too. So Caitlin probably, what's she averaging? 5 turnovers a game right now? That needs to come down to 3 or 4. 1 turnover less is fine. That'll be about normal. I bet you the typical, she's at 5.6, which is a lot. Next is 4, then 3.6, then 3.5. She cuts 1 turnover off her from her own. Her teammates adjust to her a little bit better, and all of a sudden her turnovers are right in line with everybody else. But every other number is through the roof. Like, come on. Like, you've watched the defense that they're playing on her. You've seen the responsibility she has out on the court. You really think like that's a good argument? You really think you're winning an argument by constantly just saying turnovers? Everybody understands that those need to come down. And the team will be better, and she will be better when those come down. It's just like, again, that's LeBron. Back to the theme of the show. That's LeBron. Picking one thing to hate on. Picking that one thing and saying, I'm going to hate on this, and I'm going to figure out how to hate based on this. Because my sports rooting identity is now based on hating LeBron. Pro-charged Moper says Thomas is at 3.9. Her stats are good, but points are lowish. Clark started bad on the turnovers, but are getting better. Yeah, of course. She's getting better. I mean, like, it's stupid. Rick Mendenhall, CC had 4 steals with those 13 assists. It's the same way, like, you won't hear me with Angel Reese. You won't hear me say, oh, she's only getting her own rebounds. She shoots 38% from the floor or whatever for a forward. She's trash. You won't hear me say that. What you'll hear me say is she needs to get better at finishing around the rim. Once she does that, she's going to go to a whole new level. And she has been better at finishing around the rim the last couple of games. That's why you've seen her play at a whole new level. Just like with Caitlin, she needs to take some of these mid-range shots, the floaters. She needs to, understand when, she's forcing the play a little bit and pull the turnovers back. But I'm not going to hate on people for no reason. Because I don't have an agenda. I'm not pro Caitlin Clark and anti Angel Reese. Am I pro Caitlin Clark? Yes. I love watching her play basketball. She's been good for my career, really. But I'm also pro Angel Reese. There's no reason for me to root against Angel Reese. Who do I think is the rookie of the year right now? Caitlin Clark. But Angel has made it a conversation, which is a feat in and of itself. This is an interesting stat. Indiana Fever, last 5 games. I mean, I can't check it myself, but the Fever are a whopping 13.2 plus points better defensively per 100 possessions with Christy Wallace isn't on the floor. Look, Wallace has not been good enough. There's no question. That is the, the weakest spot on that team. You are the weakest link, for sure. That, for sure. Rand Sports PH says, why is ESPN so biased? I don't know. I don't watch it, so I can't tell you. What are they doing? What are they talking about? Like, I don't even see it. I mean, I see, like, bits and pieces online on my timeline and stuff, but I'm not following and watching ESPN and those shows on a day-to-day basis. Just can't do it. Sorry. Who are they biased toward? Are they biased against Caitlin or toward her? Asim6998 says, why they waived Taylor. I think they needed to make room for another player, and I guess they thought she had the least value. I'm assuming. They need a wing player. I don't know if Celeste was that. I don't know. I mean, she could have gotten a chance, but obviously they didn't see it. Like, I'm not in charge of the Indiana Fever, but obviously I didn't see it in her. Dude, it's bad. ESPN equals CNN. I don't watch CNN either. They constantly downgrade CC, says Michael S. I mean, look, I think there are some. Here's what I think happens. Here's what I think happens. Some of the people who have covered the WNBA before Caitlin Clark arrived feel a certain type of way about Caitlin Clark getting all the attention and all the credit and the other women being pushed to the side, especially when you hear stuff like they should be thanking her for the charter jets. Their league would go back to irrelevancy without her. No one cared about any of them without her. Like that sort of talk. And they may overcompensate a bit because of that, because they're trying to stick up for the old guard. That's my psychological assessment of it. I have to watch it and see what they're saying and what the arguments actually are. But that's how I would guess it's going down. What did I have a mic drop on? Close quarters. You're going to have to fill me in. Curricular activity says, I only watch this channel. This is the most fair in terms of WNBA. You know, like, it really means a lot because I've tried to be that way, and I get a lot of people recognizing me and understanding that. So I think that is pretty cool that people do recognize that and understand that and are noticing that. So thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it very much. Appreciate it very much. Looks like somebody just came in my house. The dog is barking like crazy. All right, guys. Let me appreciate all the comments. Let me go deal with the kids and the fam and everything. I'll be back tomorrow for another show. Make sure you check out Women's Fast Break on SI. Like and subscribe to this channel. The description and the link for the website is below. So I appreciate, I'm getting a call now. Maybe I'll answer it on live. Hello? I'm in the middle of a live stream. Okay, I'll have to sign off the live stream and end it, and then I can go let them in. So should I sign off the live stream? Okay, bye. All right, guys, I gotta go. Until next time, yeet.